Pacers do it again. Every time you count this team out, they respond in a way that makes you question the way that you think. Right? Like, let's just be honest. They say a series doesn't start until the team wins on the road. The Pacers did that in game one. But yet, after game two, with the way that the Oklahoma City Thunder controlled that game and how they won, everybody walked away like, okay, yeah, here it is. OKC is about to actually take them serious. They're going to dial in. They're going to run away with the series like everybody expected. And then, boom, the Pacers respond with another haymaker punch of their own to say, no, we are here. This is real, and we're not going to roll over and let OKC just march their way into the NBA Finals victory. This is a magnificent game for the Pacers. They did a really good job defending against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and really limiting this OKC offense in a way that I think they're going to have to continue to do if they want to actually win this series and not just make it interesting for us viewers. The way that they were able to turn this team over was the biggest key for me. And I was wondering how and what they could do to cause these turnovers, because in the first two games, this was the biggest strength, in my opinion, for the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially in that game one. The way that they turned over the Pacers, the way that they limited that offense, had them overthinking, and was able to use those turnovers in the first and second game to get out into transition, to get easy, fast break points, was a super, super big thing for me in those early games. And I was wondering, how could Indiana replicate those things to maybe offset some of it or create some easier buckets for themselves, because this OKC defense is super, super tough to face in the half-court setting. And in this game, they were able to do it. 17 turnovers for the Oklahoma City Thunder, only 13 for the Pacers. They win the turnover battle. Then you look at the fast break points, only 10 fast break points for the Thunder, 17 fast break points for the Pacers, and they were able to score a lot of that in transition off of those turnovers that they were able to force. Again, the defense on Shai, 9 of 20 with 24 points, only got to the free throw line 6 times this game. Very, very great defense on him, throwing bodies, sending the late help. A couple of times I felt like they maybe had a call that went their way. I thought it was some really good defense. Some of the times I felt like the Pacers kind of bailed the Thunder out, right? It was one play in particular where I remember Obi Toppin going over there to double, and he ran into the double with his hands out and fouled Shai. And I was like, oh, man, the time was going down. You kind of bailed him out. That would have been a great double team in that particular moment. One of the things I feel like Oklahoma City Thunder is going to have to figure out for the rest of this series, right, is how to consistently find ways to generate something outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I know they've been able to have high-level success throughout the entire course of the season, whether it's the regular season and in the playoffs. And even if they figure out a way to win this series, I think that's going to be a thing of concern that they're going to have to address in this team. Somebody else besides Shai and J-Dub is going to be able to have confidence to make something happen on a consistent basis. You saw in game 2, they had a lot of help off the bench. As my guy D Mills always says, role players play better at home. You didn't get that same level of production. Alex Caruso did give you an additional 2 threes. He's been shooting the ball lights out in these playoffs. Isaiah Joe gave you 2 threes as well. But then Aaron Wiggins, a guy who was tremendous in game 2, gave you 0 points. So, that's just the story of the game. And you look over in the Pacers side, they get 27 points off the bench for Benedict Mathurin. Role players play better at home. It's a real thing for whatever reason. It's just what it is. And I would love to see the Thunder have that punch. Chet gave it to him a little bit in the first half, but in the second half, he only gave you an additional 5 points, 0 of 6 from 3. That 3-point shooting for them is supposed to be something that opens things up, and it's supposed to keep the opposing defenses honest and on their toes. And I feel like if Chet isn't going to be a consistent threat out there in this particular series, it's only going to help the Pacers be able to defend Shai and throw those bodies a little bit more confidently. They got certain guys that they're going to live with. Again, Chet is supposed to be that 7-foot guy that spaces out the floor. That's why you're seeing a lot of minutes where it's just him out there in that front court where, Isaiah Hartenstein isn't playing the same particular amount of minutes that we saw in different series. And it allows them to have that option of spacing the floor to give a lot more avenues for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, while also starting a guy like Cason Wallace to be able to wreak havoc with Caruso, and force those turnovers. You just didn't get a lot tonight. I do love the little stint from J-Dub in that second half. It felt like he was just on one. The shot creation and being able to take some of that pressure off of Shea and create for himself, it was evident in this game. I just think they need a little bit more of that. This offense gets stalled throughout certain periods of the game where Shea can't just get to his bread and butter. And we've seen throughout the course of this playoffs, if Shea ain't just Sheaing and being an MVP easily, just doing whatever he wants to do, they run into walls. They do. In the last 5-6 minute stretch for the Thunder was really, really tough, and that's where the Pacers were able to really lock in and run away with this game. For me, though, the standout quarter was the second quarter. The second quarter is where the Pacers bounced back after a not so great first quarter, a quarter where they lost by 8 points. The Thunder 32-24. We end the first quarter. The Pacers walk out of that quarter shooting 28% from three. They had 6 turnovers in the opening quarter. Kind of looked like it was going to be the same storyline type thing where OKC was going to be able to turn them over a bunch. They weren't going to be able to, get a rhythm into their offense until it was too late. But sure enough, the second quarter happens. Benedict Mathurin gives you 14 explosive points, 5 of 6 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. They shoot 50% from three, 61% from the field, and they leave this quarter with just 1 turnover. It makes no mistake that their best quarters are the ones where they don't turn over the ball that much. And in fact, they were able to also force 4 turnovers against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Thunder shot 60% from three in this quarter. They didn't play too bad. It's just that they weren't able to stop the Pacers, and the Pacers were able to get out in transition. They got 8 fast break points. They got 5 second chance points, and then the points in the paint, 18 points in the paint for the Pacers in this particular quarter. This is a team that has not been able to keep up with the Thunder in this series throughout the first couple of games with scoring in the paint. And in this game, they were able to score an advantage and be able to keep up with them. They won the points in the paint battle with 50 points in the paint compared to the Thunder's 48. I thought that was big. The 17 fast break points opposed to the 10 fast break points for the Thunder. And then for me, winning that turnover battle is going to be something that is extremely big for the Pacers, because when you're able to give OKC so much easy baskets and so many easy looks, it helps them so much, because as we seen, like I just said, when they can't get their shit off in the half court, they sometimes just look a little shaky. And when you're able to keep this game close, you're able to give them some adversity. It's not that they turn into a whole different team. It's not that they can't prevail. It's not that they can't figure things out. But that's when they look their worst. And 49 bench points is always going to be a blessing for any team in the NBA. If you're getting 49 bench points, then something is going extremely right. And then again, 21 points off of turnovers is major for the Indiana Pacers. Ultimately, another one of those nights where I walk away saying this is the version of Tyrese Haliburton that we love. You know what I mean? 15-plus shot attempts. I believe in one of my other videos, or maybe on the Teed Up podcast, I did some research and I saw that in these playoffs, maybe not even the playoffs, maybe it was the overall look on the season, but the Pacers were like 9-1 when Tyrese Haliburton scored 20 points or more, and then they were like 7. No, I'm sorry. They were 7-1 when he scored 20 points or more, and they were like 9-1 when he shot 15 or more shots. So again, 17 shots in tonight's game with 22 points. You still got your 11 assists, rebounded the hell out of the ball. No free throw attempts, but shot 4 of 8. When his aggression went up, this Pacers team was at their best throughout the course of this game. He's going to have that same mentality throughout the rest of the series. And I agree with what RJ said in the beginning of the game on the broadcast, maybe in like the second quarter or so, saying, hey, you got to just get those shots up. And again, he's such an incredible and intelligent basketball player that we don't have to dive deep onto what we mean by getting the shot up. Nobody is saying take the dumb, stupid shots just to say, hey, look, I'm taking the shots. But there's certain levels in certain parts of the game where you'll see Tyrese Haliburton turn a corner and have an option of getting his runner or his floater off. And early in this game, he was looking away from the basket. He was turning that corner, and he wasn't looking to attack. He wasn't playing with an aggressive mindset. He was being too passive. And I feel like for me, the easiest way to get that going is that first opening quarter. The opening quarter is setting the tone. And I want my star player. I want my best player. I want my guy that it's such a statistical, analytical, advanced stat, era right now. Hey, The numbers are saying that we are a really good team. We have an incredible winning percentage when you score 20 plus points and or shoot 15 plus shots from the field. So when we start the game, let's set the tone that way. Let's come out of the gate with an aggressive mindset. Of course, you're not just going to go out there and chuck. Of course, you're not going to have tunnel vision. Of course, you're going to take not going to take dumbass shots. But there is a certain level of aggression that we want from you, just to set the tone, allow the defense to understand how they're going to need to play you, how they're going to have to respect you, that they have to be accountable for you from every aspect. Don't allow them to feel like you can turn the corner and not make them pay. Don't feel like they can go under screens and you won't make them pay. When they go under the screen, you pop it. You turn that corner, float, layup, whatever, foul, get to the free throw line. And once those shots start to fall, you'll already have that mindset and that confidence to just push, especially at home. So I love that from Tyrese Haliburton. I hope in this upcoming game, having a chance to go up 3-1, having another home game, having the confidence after a win like this, bouncing back after that game 2 loss, and now having a situation where the Oklahoma City Thunder again have to feel pressure. The confidence for the Pacers should be at an all-time high, in my opinion, because you're playing against a team that is the best team. They're fully healthy. There's not anything that they're lacking right now. This is a 68-win team that was head and shoulders above everybody, and now you're in the driver's seat of the series again. Everybody can say what they wanted to say about game 1. Hey, the Thunder lost that game more than the Pacers won it. They fumbled it, whatever. They controlled it for the first 4.5 quarters. Cool. Then you get the blowout loss where they kind of handled you. Everybody quickly having their opinions and all, writing the series off because this is what we expected the Thunder to do from the start of the series. And now you respond again and put the pressure on OKC again. And allow OKC to know that, hey, this is not one of those series where we're just going to say, hey, oh, man, yeah, they just too good. We just can't beat them. So shout out to Rick Carlisle. Shout out to these guys. I think Benedict Mathen obviously gets the game ball, 27 points, 9 to 12 from the field, 8 free throw attempts. Really, really good in 22 minutes. 27 points in 22 minutes is video game numbers. TJ McConnell, with the energy he was able to bring to them, 5 steals for TJ McConnell. 5 steals in an NBA Finals game is crazy. I got to go do some research and see what the record is for NBA Finals steals. Obi Toppin has some big exciting plays. The putback dunk in that fourth quarter was super, super dope. And again, you're having limited games from guys like Aaron Nesmith and Nembhard and Miles Turner. So you need these guys. We were watching this game at the studio saying, man, this has to be a win for the Pacers. This is not a game that you want to see them lose, having this production off of their bench. And again, you might not get the same level of production from the bench, but you might have a game in game 4 where now Andrew Nembhard is hot and he has his moment. Or it may be the game where Aaron Nesmith makes 4 or 5 threes or Miles Turner hits 3 threes. So shout out to the bench for giving them that production. OKC is going to have to figure some things out. They're going to have to figure out how to negate some of these double teams and the help on Shea. They're going to have to figure out how to get some production out of their other guys. And more importantly, they're going to have to get some consistency down the stretch. They cannot be this one-sided team where they only are good or, confident when they're up by double digits. Throughout these playoffs, when teams have been able to keep the game close or when a team punches them first in a game, OKC kind of is shaking up a little bit. And I don't think it has anything to do with necessarily age or experience. I think that kind of gets overblown. I do think some of it may go to how good of a team that they've been throughout the entire season, where they just haven't had to really face some of these levels of adversity. You know what I mean? They almost won 70 games. They're legitimately not used to what close games are like. They're legitimately not used to losing games. They're just not. And we saw in that Nuggets series where it looked like the Nuggets were at their best when they were able to keep it somewhat close and get to that clutch time and slow the game down. And I think the Pacers have to do the same thing, where you're not necessarily slowing the game down because the Pacers, are a fast-paced team, but keeping that game close and making the Thunder have to rely on playing a lot more half-court basketball. They feed and feast off of turning you over and getting out in transition and really just kind of deflating you with disrupting your rhythm offensively as a team and as an individual player. So if you can negate that, flip that mentality onto them, apply some pressure on them, make them turn over the basketball, make some other guys have to go out and make some shots. Lou Dort took like a crazy mid-range shot today, and it was like that's to me a credit and a nod to the Indiana Pacers defense. Got to stay on your toes though. OKC again, this is a team that won 68 games. It would be nothing for them to go into game 4 on the road and win and even the series up, and then go back home with all of the momentum back on their side. So Indiana got to stay locked in. Rick Carlisle got to continue with these game plans, and these role players got to step up on both sides. I am P with the Plug. I will see y'all in the next one. I'm out. Peace.